Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining me here. Today's discussion from A Course in Miracles is going to be from chapter 25, section 4, which is entitled The Light You Bring. Hmm. It's a conversation about light. Light shines away darkness, as we all know. When you walk into a dark room and flip on the light switch, what happens to the darkness? Exactly. It's gone. It's as though it were never there. It was not. And happily, it is not. However, here on Wobbling Spinning Ball of Rock, as we appear to be individual human beings, appear to be, we see lots of darkness. The darkness of separation, where we think that we're separate entities, separate from our brother, competing with one another for what we deem to be limited resources on a wobbling, spinning ball of rock hurtling through space. Everything in constant flux. We believe this is our home, and we bemoan our plight, our fate, our lot in life, whatever that may look like at the moment. And we desperately try to change it. We try to change it by looking within the world itself, trying to change it in a new relationship, in a new diet, in a new job, a new car, a new home, a new t-shirt. That'll solve the problem of separation, won't it? The next shiny object. Yeah. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. Nothing. We're looking to solve the one issue that we all have, our belief in separation. We're looking to solve it in the world itself. That does not work, as you well know. And perhaps you've experienced this on your own spiritual path. Plenty of people that arrive at A Course in Miracles have experienced just that. I'm frequently told that someone has tried everything, seemingly everything, many different traditions, many different modalities, and they're still searching. Right, exactly. Where we need to be searching is within, not in the world that appears to be out there. There is no world, by the way. If you're hearing this for the first time, let that percolate in your mind. There is no world. Again, there is no world. Yeah, you're perfectly at home in God where you've always been. Do not expect the ego to like it. Expect resistance. You may be getting it right now. Not a problem. Jesus tells us right here in A Course in Miracles that this is the, in fact, central teaching of the Course. There is no world. You're perfectly at home in God, where you've always been. And perhaps on some level, this may resonate with you in the sense that you've always known that there's more to our experience than simply meeting the needs of physical organism over here. Eating, breathing, sleeping, and stuff. Yeah, of course there is. So, what do we do? Great question. Because we appear to have placed ourselves in an impossible situation where we try the next shiny object, one shiny modality after another. This isn't shiny at all. There is no world. Ready to hear that? Who's ready to hear that in the world? Exactly. That's why there aren't as many people doing this as you might think. But you're here. Tells me everything I need to know. Should tell you everything you need to know. You're closer than you think. Keep going, please, on behalf of all of us. Thank you. And stick around. Do that too. There's a message for you in each and every dialogue here, each and every single one from the Holy Spirit. Who else? What else? This part of our mind that we're invited to follow as our teacher, as our guide, that will point the way. When we're trying one shiny object after another, we're trying to find our way by ourselves without the assistance of this part of our mind that knows what we are. We all do know this, but we're afraid of it. So we try to find it in the next shiny object. And this one shines differently than the last one. Hmm, let me choose this one for a little while. Sick of that yet? I mean, maybe could be legitimately that you've answered no, actually, I'm not. See ya. Okay, you'll ask yourself this question again later, and it may not even be in this lifetime. The choice is yours. Yeah, the choice is always ours to make. What will you choose? It's pretty clear what the invitation is. So let's say a few words about light. When we're talking light here in the Course, we're not talking necessarily about physical, visible light, the spectrum of visible light. However, it is a highly useful analogy. Light here in the Course refers to right-mindedness. By right-mindedness, we mean miracle-mindedness. We mean the mind under the direction of the Holy Spirit. The mind that looks past all of our ridiculous drama to the truth of what is, to the truth of what your brother is and who he is, which I know you know. This is exactly the same as what you are. Your brother is you. As you see him, you see yourself. Something else the ego does not want us to look at. It would rather have you do what you've been doing, seeing your brother as separate from you. Oh, yeah, because of course he appears to be a separate one of these. Yeah, stop there. That's what the ego says. Stop there. Now go play with this shiny toy for a little bit until it grossly dissatisfies you and you find it grossly wanting. Then judge it as unworthy, condemn and blame it or a person or a group of people, and then go play with this other toy. not supposed to be flattering. Let's consider this. The ego is what wants flattery. This false sense of individuality wants you to believe that you're a separate individual, self-sustaining survival unit doing battle with people. You don't have to continue to invest your thought on that, your allegiance, your mind. You could choose the Holy Spirit instead, and you're invited to do just that. Light here is right-mindedness, miracle-mindedness, the mind under the guidance of the Holy Spirit, one that extends love, that forgives, that blesses, that looks past all of our psychodrama to the truth of what really is. You know what that is. Go there. Light shows up in a lot of ways in the world. We could say that someone or something that they've done, like a piece of writing or an art project or an act of kindness or whatever it appears to be, is inspired by our inner teacher. It's light. Forgiveness is light. Smiling at your neighbor is light. Anytime you forgive rather than judge, any time at all that you catch yourself indulging in our habitual tendency to lash out, blame, and condemn, catch yourself, switch, change your mind right there in the present moment, and love and forgive and bless and extend love. That's light. It's analogized here to a bright sun that's in fact many times brighter than any sun. When you see it, you'll recognize it. It will feel really, really familiar. We're invited to give our entire experience over to the Holy Spirit, who will direct us always, always to forgive, always to extend love, never to harm us in any way. And here's the thing. We like to give our power away. Perhaps you're thinking that this just is beyond me, that I can't do this. Well, actually, you can and you will. It doesn't have to be today. That's your choice, remember? But you will. We're all going to wake up. Even if you choose to spend the rest of this lifetime not doing it. Again, your choice. What do you choose? This course is extraordinarily simple. Where we find the extreme difficulty is in our tendency to complicate everything, in our habitual tendency to think we're an individual self-sustaining survival unit and to want that. We fear to let go of our precious individuality. Our individuality, your precious individuality, is nothing. There is no separation of any kind. There's no separation of any kind. How can there be separate individuals? It's not possible. Ego says, dude, you're wrong. Complete, I call BS. No way. Not happening. And then you can choose to listen to that voice if you want to listen to it. I mean, really. In the world, we become extraordinarily impatient with people whom we feel aren't getting right down to business, who aren't shooting straight with us, as we say here in the world. We want to know what the bottom line is. What's the point? What's the bottom line? Get to the point, and we become pushy and very rude and impatient with one another, don't we? Wanting someone to get to the point. This course cuts right to the chase. Choose right now, God or the ego. life or death, love or fear, truth or illusion. You have another opportunity to choose right now. And it goes on and on in the eternal present. So what if you've chosen poorly in the past? If you're hampered by feelings of what you could have, would have, should have done, forgive yourself. Please do that if you please. Forgive the past. Forgive anyone and anything or any thought that may have been involved in that. It is gone. It's often said, and a question that's asked frequently, what's a good course student? Well, someone who recognizes that they've messed up multiple times and forgives themselves for it. How do I know if I'm doing the workbook right? If you're doing the workbook, yeah, forget the ideas, forget to do them completely for a day or two or 30, and forgive yourself. He or she that's forgiven themselves a lot. That, yeah. Nobody ever said that we're going to have an easy time completely changing our perception, turning it 180 degrees right side up. It is manifestly upside down. We're turning it right side up, which means a complete 180. It does. It means a complete overhaul in the way we think, in the way we look at things. It may seem like a tall order, an order of magnitude. Yeah, it's an order of magnitude. You have a powerful guide, the Holy Spirit. Jesus, call it what you want to call it, our inner teacher. Yeah, you have a very powerful guide. However, here's something that you must know. Our teacher is patient and does not force. Think about it. Jesus does not wave his hands like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars and make objects levitate. He does not wave his hands like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, perform a Jedi mind trick and make you enlightened. Nor does he force you to forgive. If you're not ready to do it, he's going to wait patiently until you are. The Holy Spirit does not force. Think about it. That wouldn't be a very effective thing to do at all, would it? Why? Because we're still in a state where we're clinging to the ego, to certain shreds of individuality. And you may have come a long way toward letting that go. In fact, you're watching this proves to me that you have come a long way. And you may think, well, I've still got a long ways to go. Okay, no problem. All we have is the present moment right now, and you can choose to follow the guidance of the Holy Spirit right now. How will you be directed to do that? I don't know, but He does, and it will tell you. You will be shown. This is most often in the form of what we would call an idea, a thought, or an intuitive hit, though you may actually hear spoken words in a language that you can understand. Often it's in something somebody else says or a pixelated image on your screen says, which is why this video series exists, for example. Perhaps the Holy Spirit said something to you that really connects. That's Him. It's not pixelated image. This is nothing. I promise you. Nothing special. We have a choice right now. And perhaps you're getting a sense of how powerful you really are. Yes, Allow yourself to go there. If it scares you, expect that. That's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's part of the path. I mean, we cannot expect the ego, which hates us, pure hatred, we can't expect it to go quietly when you're in the process of setting it aside. It wants to tempt you with guile, with a shiny object, and when you no longer listen to its offerings of the next shiny object, that's when it gets really mean, vindictive, and wants to kill you, basically, in the end. It can be very violent. Now, perhaps you're not going to experience this in this lifetime. Not a problem. Some of you have, some of you have not. Each of us appears to have what we call our own journey. We have the same teacher because there's only one mind, not 8 billion, one. We have access to the same guidance. And while the outward form of our paths are stations in life where we live, what we do, who we're in a relationship with, all that stuff, while that all appears to vary wildly, the content, the essence of it is exactly the same. We have the same ability right now in the present moment to choose love, to choose to forgive, to choose the guidance of the Holy Spirit. That is what we have, the choice to do. So we do it. The content is exactly the same, no matter where you live, no matter who you're dealing with here on the surface of life, any of that. Exterior stuff, look past that. We've looked at it long enough, which is why we appear to be here, which is why this world appears to be such a frantic, chaotic mess, a hot mess, a steaming pile. Now, you may protest, and people do. Well, what about this beautiful dinner that I had last night? What about this loving relationship that I'm in? What about my beautiful grandkids, if you have grandkids? What about my cute puppy or the beautiful sunset and stuff? Okay, yeah, no problem. Our lives are interspersed with beauty and utter chaos. It's up, down, up, down, up, down, which has us exhausted, of course. Of course. The beautiful moments are symbolic of who we are as the Christ, the Son of God, God's creation, the thought of God, the extension of God, and like extends like. You have always known these beautiful moments, the beautiful meal, the relationship, the cute puppy, the sunset. They're symbolic of our own radiance. May help you to see it that way. I mean, there is no world, so what sunset? Actually, it's symbolic. What we appear to see here is simply an outward projection of an inner picture. We're seeing what's in our mind. What would you have in your mind? Love and forgiveness? The peace of God? Or would you have more of the same? Psychodrama and chaos, hot mess, steaming pile, cluster. That's the choice. You get to make it. And the unflattering truth here is that we keep choosing the ego. That's why this conversation appears to be necessary. We see what we think is going to give us joy. So if you think separation, guilt, rage, and fear are going to give you joy, you'll see that. If, on the other hand, you choose the Holy Spirit and you choose to extend love, you think that peace and love will bring you joy, what will you see then? Mm-hmm. So it's extremely simple. No one ever said it was going to be easy in practice. And as we find, it is not. Yet the simplicity remains, as does the present moment choice that we all have to follow the guidance of our inner teacher and to learn as much as we're able to do on a given day to relax and trust. Spirituality in a nutshell, very simple. It's the simple things that we're most apt to overlook, which is why it's worth our repeating them. In fact, it's essential. So I thank you for joining me here today. If it feels like it's getting deeper, it is. Your practice is getting deeper, your understanding is getting deeper, and what I hope is that your willingness to put these ideas into practice is getting deeper and more pronounced day by day. That is where we really learn this. Yes, it's one thing to understand this intellectually, but we learn the course by doing it. In other words, by putting it into practice, our experience then shows us, it demonstrates to us that the ideas are true. We learn it viscerally, hands on, in a manner of speaking, experientially. That's how we do it. So, you're invited to go forth and forgive. Now, if you have not yet subscribed, please do that. I'd love to have you join us. This is the prompt, this icon in the corner of your screen. All you do is click that and join us. Questions, by the way, are always most welcome. So if you have them, please leave them here. And even if you just wish to pop in and say hello, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining me. And well, this course just cuts right to the chase. You deserve nothing less than that. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you again soon.